Hi there. Yes, my name is Daniel Howell, calling here from London, England, where it's very warm. We don't have air conditioning, old buildings, very clammy right now. And I make comedy videos also that are usually about terrible, awkward things that have happened in my life. But as the years went on, I started to open up more about personal experiences, and that led me to talking about mental health, and from that, other socially responsible things. And I'm actually now writing a book that is a guidebook about mental health called You Will Get Through This Night. So it started off as comedy, and now I'm the mental health guy. So yeah, funny how it works out.
And Daniel, I guess for you, how would you define that quote unquote modern activist? And do you consider yourself one?
I think this is the interesting thing about how social media has completely changed our society in the last kind of 2 decades, which is the modern activist nowadays. What the internet has done is it's given anyone around the world a platform and a voice. Anyone can go out, they can create a community, they can build an audience, they can create in any way that they want. And this is what we're seeing from our audiences and the different communities and all the different opinions on the internet, is that anyone really now has the power to affect change. And I think that that's a really good thing. So the activists before, it was this kind of gate-kept thing where someone watching someone on TV or hearing them on the radio would think, I'm listening to that inspiring speech. How do I get involved? Whereas now you're looking at, the younger wave of politicians, people getting involved with justice issues on social media. And it really gives you the feeling that anyone watching that feels like they have something to say or they want to be a part of making the world a better place can kind of use social media to do that.
And Daniel, I actually want to circle back to something that occurred to me when you were talking earlier. For a lot of people watching, and especially as you go kind of up the age ladder, I think it's very difficult to imagine themselves in this space of creating the way you do, of putting yourself out in the world so that, potentially billions of people can see you. It requires, I think, a level of bravery, which, as you know, as you're writing a book, and I can certainly agree as a writer, is also required when you're putting yourself in these very vulnerable spaces as a creator. So I wonder, what do you think about that? How do you push yourself to be brave? And is there a kind of a process for people out there who want to understand how to be in the world that you guys are, or want to just be braver in their own social responsibility versions of their own lives?
I think that clearly you look at the younger generation, the Zoomers out in the world, and they have no problem just putting themselves out there. They're doing backflips. They're woke. They're ranting. It's all going on. It's second nature to them. And, it was terrifying for me when I started 10 years ago, the audacity of thinking anyone would like to listen to anything I have to say. But I would say you don't have to think you need to have this qualification or this kind of profound quality to be heard. If you honestly think you have something important to say, if you want to start a conversation, if you want to do something in your community, then anyone watching this, I think what you can see from just the sheer amount of creators and young people that are involved on social media with The Voice these days are anyone can do it. And you might have to, check that voice in your head that's saying, I do have to be brave to kind of tell myself that anyone should be listening to me. But exactly like you just said, it's the conversations, just one conversation at a time can change the entire world. So even if you start small, get used to it. And then before you know it, you might be doing a TED Talk, who knows?
I love that. I love that everybody can do a TED Talk if they want to, in their hearts.
I'm sorry, can I also add this?
You can add anything. This is a chat.
Sorry, what? What?
I said, go off, sis. You have permission to continue.
He's doing a rah-rah.
Yeah.
But before we continue that, because I didn't mean to tag you, Greg, I wanted to make sure we got Daniel on creativity, and then we'll continue this.
Yeah, no, I'm actually going to just say it's exactly what you were both just saying, which is the power to change things comes all from authenticity and believability. And whilst, facts are charts and those are great, the power of storytelling is so compelling. And especially when it comes from a place of authenticity, if you want to inspire people, if you want to create change, then to anyone watching this, whether it's a young person thinking about how they can be creative, or anyone watching this that wants to think about how they can affect change in their career or the global stage, just share your story. What does this mean to you? What is the perspective? Why are you passionate about this? If you are authentic, if you can get people on your side, everybody can relate to the same issues. And the power of a good story coming from personal experiences is really the most profound way to do it. So yeah, that's what Absolutely. I do.
There's often a critique, I think, especially again, coming from older folks or people who are more entrenched, of creators where it's like, oh, everybody thinks they're an expert on everything. And so why do I want to watch your video, you random person who is just, I guess, living your life and thinks I need to know about it? So what do you say to that person, whether they're, you know, a curmudgeonly young person or somebody in their 70s who just doesn't quite get why we're all sort of turning ourselves into armchair experts? Does silence mean no one?
You are correct. That is no. I would say that, you know, firstly, it depends who you're watching and what they're talking about, because it's safe to say that people like Greg and Mitch, I trust them to know what they're on about. I watch that science video and I'm like, them's the facts and a good story. Thanks, guys. I learned something. Someone like me is definitely on the side of, you know, I'm telling you my personal perspective. The book that I'm writing at the moment, obviously, it's about mental health. It's kind of a guidebook to help people understand how they, you know, experience different emotions. I am writing that in consultation with a qualified psychologist. So anyone reading it that is like, oh, why should I be listening to this guy? What's he talking about? What does he know? And it's like, well, you know, I can tell you my story, and on my YouTube channel, you would see a funny story. If I'm doing something else in this context, yeah, I am trying to talk, you know, kind of about something more scientific, but then I'm backing it up with somebody who's providing real research, and we've made sure that it's all done. So sure, sometimes you're just watching a funny video, you want to hear someone talk about something, maybe just their lived experience of it is really valuable and part of the conversation. Sometimes it's just the facts. Sometimes it's the middle ground. I think they're all valid. We just need to, you know, go into situations with an open ear, depending.
Absolutely. I would virtually high five you if I could right now on the psychologist piece of it. Can I just ask you each finally quickly to give us like a call to action? Like, what's one thing that everybody out there can do like right now to advance the global goals from your perspective?
I would say that listening to the younger generation, it's kind of like a canary. I think that all you need to see is that there's certain issues that are political, and then you realize they're not political issues. They're kind of just facts of science. These are inevitabilities. And when you see the entire generation of young people going, we recognize that all of these things, you know, all of the global goals, they're facts, they're issues, they're happening now. This is the future. Address the change. That the sooner all of us take steps to do that, the better, because anyone that is fighting against the current, you know, they're fighting a losing battle. So I think that even if it requires some bravery to stand up and go against the grain in a certain situation, it is the bright future that I hope that we are heading towards. So be hopeful and get off your butt.
Thank you guys so much to our YouTube creators. This is amazing. I hope everybody out there becomes a YouTube creator, and we'll see you again in the SDG Action Zone.
Thank you. Thank you so much.